So this is going to be a little bit of a different spin on my podcast. I don't have a lot of these that are by myself. I mean, I've had a couple of them that I just don't care to show anyone, but I feel like I should do some of them because I like to talk, whether I'm talking to people or not. It's one of the nice things about podcasting is you can just sit down, visit, or sit down and express your thoughts. My thoughts right now, I just got up a little bit ago, so I don't know. I don't have a lot to say. I find animals very interesting. Saw a video this morning of a deer getting away from an alligator. And as soon as it got away from that alligator, a jaguar out of nowhere, ready on the heel. That's, nature. Nature sucks. No matter what, for the predator or the prey, it sucks because the gator lost his meal to a it might have been a leopard. I don't know. But yeah, animals are very interesting. I think that a lot when I drive by deer. Look out at them out of your car. What do they have to think about that? Do you have any idea? Nobody. I wonder if they actually have thoughts. If they have the capability of sitting there looking at this person inside of a truck, thinking that person, what are they doing in that vehicle? I find that stuff intriguing, slightly interesting, anyways. Just to think about what they're thinking about. Or do they think about anything like that at all? Or are they just consistently thinking about survival? People are another thing I think about a lot. It's hard to know what people are thinking. They're all so different. Everyone's so different. I do think that there's not enough love in this world. Not enough care. People don't know how to process certain feelings. It's all a figuring out game, Twitter's where I see a lot of that. A lot of people are very, very different in, opinions. And when they have their opinion, they base it off of the things that they've seen, which a lot of the stuff you see on the internet and you see on Facebook is not true. It's a rat race of life we're all trapped in. We don't get to see a lot of that in some of our everyday lives. We don't see a lot of the rat race that people are trapped in their everyday life. A lot of people are held up by their drug addictions or by whatever. A lot of people are addicted to the news in the morning. That's something that they have to do with their coffee every morning. I don't really particularly understand that, but I have it within my life too. I have my daily patterns. We all do. It's just a matter of what daily pattern have you set forth for yourself to make your future better. I don't know. I feel that people need to have a balanced diet, have a balanced work ethic, a balanced, everything needs to be balanced. The things you do, the things you enjoy, video games. I like video games. You can't play too many of them though. They don't rot your brain, but they do take up a lot of your time that you could be using on something, better for yourself, something that actually makes your day worth it. You can't come home every day and not have done something and relax, thinking that you're just gonna relax. I don't like that. I don't like relaxing. Don't get me wrong, I enjoy my relaxing time, but I don't like the thought that people oftentimes will use relaxing as an excuse because of the fact that they just got done with a long day at work, and I'm guilty of that too. We all have this typical everyday thought that we get stuck in. That's kind of how people get addicted to alcohol, I think, is they enjoy that buzz, they enjoy the feel, they feel like it's kind of like people with energy drinks. A lot of people that have alcohol addiction are addicted to coffee and caffeine, and are addicted to tobacco of some sort, whether it's chewing or smoking. I don't know. Life's a hard. It's all of our number one goal is to figure out what our purpose is here and what do we enjoy? What's our base? Our core values. Whether they're values or you consider them morals, and a lot of people base themselves off of their job. You base yourself off of what you do for a living. You base yourself off of what you do in your free time. You are, some people are the essence of archery. Some people are the essence of long-range shooting. Some people are, range target practice. A lot of people go and do that at the range very regularly. That is their sport. That's another thing I don't understand is all the capability that the government thinks they have over what, dictating what we can own, what we can do. That's this whole mandate to stay in your home for the last couple years. And I know it's not a mandate to stay in your home, but it is keeping a lot of people from going and doing things that they would like to do just because they have it in their head. Just your state may be open, but a lot of people they still don't want to go out. They're afraid. I'm afraid for older people in my family, especially with this surge of the Delta variant that's going through our community here. It's a little bit scary. Like, if you think about it, you don't want your older family members to get it and die. I know a few different people that have passed away from it, and it's not a simple thing that you can sweep under the rug and say, oh well, you can't. I don't know. You're incapable of knowing the truth because none of us are studied scientists. None of us have went to college for this. None, I know a few people who have, and they have some different theories on it. I know of a lot of different people in the social media world that think that they still think that the coronavirus it was all a political thing, and it's not all a political thing. They're politicizing it. Yes, I'll agree with that. Sorry for the moments of quiet. I don't, first time I've ever actually sat down and had one of these where I just talk about my thoughts and things that are, it's like essentially a vlog. And I don't know, I feel like a lot more people should be doing this, putting their voice out there if they have something that they think that is necessary to the world. With this podcast, I want to do nothing more than, have intellectual conversation with other people who may not be intellectuals, but, I like to visit, I like to talk, and I like to have long conversation with people. It's a good timekeeper, a good way of spending your time. How else do you set your time up? You simple as going to visit with one of your family members. You can sit down and record that conversation, if of course they want to. But record that conversation and you can put it on Spotify. It's quite entertaining. A lot of people could use some of the things that that a lot of people don't realize how easy it is to actually get things like that out there. Things like your music. You just keep doing it over and over, repetition. Eventually you will get good at it. Your first anything is not going to be good. Your first podcast, your first day on the job is not going to go well in any line of, I mean, it's not going to go, you're not going to be proficient at the job first day of the job. Just the same as your first relationship probably didn't go as well as your, future relationships. But life's complicated. It's a very complicated game. That guy I interviewed, Michael Dean, he's an interesting character. I gotta say, he has a lot of interesting thoughts on the ways of the world. But I don't think things are as cut and dry as a lot of people like to make it. I don't think that the world is as bad as a lot of the news outlets make it to be, which the world is bad. There's a lot of evil out there all the time at any given time. But I believe that America we have the least amount of regulation when it comes to people. We have the least amount of things that people are incapable of doing in America. And we have the least amount of suppression of certain types of people, like women and gays and LGBTQ. We have a lot. They have a lot more rights here. They don't, and religious freedoms. I gotta say, the fact that we're capable of having as many religions in one conjoined country is a very, that's one of the things that makes me look at this country as a very great place. And also, along with that note, people want to say that America's a racist country, that we're racist. Well, honestly, we are the least racist country out there. We have been working since the beginning of our founding in America to abolish slavery. It's there. Some people would say that there's racism in the Declaration of Independence, but there's not. All men are created equal. We are all equal. We're all, whether you believe in God or whether you believe in, Scientology, it's all a very conjoined way of thinking. You have something to look at that gives you, the reasoning as to why we're here. And it gives you have your own guidelines in there as to what is your moral reasoning. I know a lot of people are probably going to find this very boring, but I don't know. And I say I don't know a lot, and I say like a lot, but with this, the way that things are currently going, I don't see a lot happening when it comes to our government trying to put in place things like this new abortion bill that was either passed or presented. I'm not sure. I haven't looked at it recently. I just remember the bill being presented. But I don't believe that one person should dictate over another person's body. Like, what right do you have to tell me how to live? Somebody might want to, somebody could say that we could use less government in this country. Well, then immediately, as soon as you say that we need to deregulate the government, you're telling one person, not just one person, but many people, how to live in comparison. Instead of the way of government that we have right now, you're, essentially saying that you want me to live how you want to live. It's just the same as somebody telling me that I couldn't own an AR-15 in whatever state I'm in the United States. That's right there. That is it's a single notch on the the tailings of what we have as rights in our country, what we have as rights as a human. I believe that we should be able to own anything we want, do whatever we want with our own bodies. If somebody wants to do cocaine, but have something to regulate it and to measure it the same way we do alcohol, the same way we do at pot stores now. They tell you the amount that you're supposed to, take in one dose, or, and whatnot. And we all know that you can't be more than 0.8 alcohol content blood-wise to drive. You could do the same type of shit like that with drugs of any kind. That's one of the things that baffles me, is if somebody wants to do that, why not let them? May degrade their life, but it's a victimless crime. Other than the person who's doing it, if they get addicted, anyways. If you want some research on that, on certain things like that, research Dr. Carl Hart. He's a badass guy. He's a doctor who believes that drugs are that way. You can use them without excess. If you can gain that capability of being able to figure out how to use them, which they don't teach us. They don't tell us anything like that in school. You don't learn that shit in school. You just taught that drugs are bad. Drugs are bad. Drugs are bad. Pot's bad. Alcohol's bad. Cigarettes are bad. It's all bad. Anything's bad for you. That frickin' cheeseburger you go get at McDonald's every fucking 2 weeks is just as bad for you as smoking cigarettes. It's if you want some research on that, watch Super Size Me. That'll tell you exactly all you need to know on that. Very, very interesting documentary on McDonald's, by the way. I don't know, one of the only reasons that I did this is because I seen Bill Burr doing it, and Bill Burr's really funny. But considering that this is the first of this kind that I've done, I know it's going to be terrible. But I think this podcast, I could do a lot with it. And if I was to, if people are to like what I have to say and like what the people I have on that have to say, then I could, I enjoy this anyways. I enjoy doing it. It's fun. It will be fun for however long I choose to do it. But, yeah. Work. I gotta say, the workforce is a very, very decimated place right now. There's a lot of people that aren't working. There's a lot of places that really, really need work. So if you're not working and you're just drawing unemployment, please get your ass out there. We not just whatever employer needs you. We in the living world, we all need you. Grocery stores need people to. Well, grocery stores need box boys. Gas stations need people to attend the counter. But with that, it's all a numbers game. People need to go back to work, and the government needs to stop placating. I mean, they're really not placating. They're taking away your rights and then placating. But we need to step past this. We're better creatures than this disease. We're better creatures than, I say disease, it's a virus, I know, but we're better than this. There is a disease going on right now within our country that we as people need to, grasp and understand that currently in our country there are, forces way bigger than us that are trying to take certain rights, whether it be your gun rights or your First Amendment rights. I see a lot of these audits going on right now, like it's people auditing the police and auditing government officials is becoming a much bigger thing right now. And I think it's because those particular people want to spotlight the bad things that these police do. And I don't think that that's necessarily a good thing. You got some people. I understand that that's your show and that's your shtick. Like that's your what's it called? Your niche. Like you, I don't know. I like to spread positivity. I like to spread happiness, and I like people to think that the world can be better because we are all better than we make ourselves. As individual people and as a nation of people as well. I think that one of the hardest things that I've had to deal with in the last couple years over all this is, I've had it easy. I haven't had to, not go places really. There's been, you just put your mask on and go to wherever you need to go until they lifted the mask mandate. But yeah, it's a pretty serious situation. I'm not saying we need to listen to the CDC because the CDC is currently a little bit contradictory, but that's how science works anyways. One year you know something, you think you know something, and then the next year you don't really know, you just thought you knew. They're all practicing. You go to the doctor's practicing medicine. They're all trying to figure it out. This is all new shit. It's nothing we've really experienced on this climax, or on this magnitude of the world we live in. Every now and again you get hit with diseases and viruses, and there's literally a war of microbes going on around you at all times that none of us even know about because they're all teensy tiny, atom sized. Like that's more than our comprehension, more than our brains are capable of understanding without doing the actual schoolwork. And that's what a lot of people don't want to do anyways. They don't want to do the work after they find something out. They just want to know. That's how all of us are. Once you find it out, you think you know. But then you find something else. Whatever conspiracy theory it is, whatever scientific published article it was that you thought, you read it and you thought you knew, but you don't. They don't. Sometimes they do. I don't know. It's interesting to me. You know what else gets me? The fact that they're after guns. Like that, I know I talked a little bit about that, but like the fact that they at every turn push, weave, they're consistently looking to get more rights over what we can buy, freedom. Like that's what those represent. Some people may say that, well, the Second Amendment's for cannons and muskets. Like no, that was just the technology they had at the time. That's just your way of trying to write that off. No further advancements are like so what, anything after that time, after when the Second Amendment was made, any new further advancements in technology are not righted to the people after they've been patented. It's not their right to have it, and it's not that person's right to sell it. That doesn't make any sense to me. This is a free market country. You can't, free market economy. And I don't understand where somebody could tell you how like. And that's another thing when it comes to like FDA approval with the vaccine. Just because it's FDA approved does not mean that it's safe. It doesn't mean that it's not going to kill some people. It doesn't mean that it's going to prevent you from transmitting it. It heavily reduces the chances of you transmitting it, heavily reduces the chances of you dying or even being hospitalized You think about it. That shot could be, if you, I don't know if some of you may have had it, and when you get it, when you get the virus, if you hadn't been vaccinated, maybe you're sitting there thinking, maybe I should have been vaccinated because now I'm sitting in the hospital. You may not die, you might not be in critical condition, but still, you're probably laying there thinking, God damn. Even just the fact that some of us really enjoy work, and some of us are in, like, it's a real hard thing to be sick for even a couple of days and not be able to go to work. Like I'm that type of guy. I don't like not being able to go to work. Who in their right mind enjoys being homesick? Nobody does. It's a very shitty way of living, and you get and I've heard ibogane's a very good treatment for it. Like Joe Rogan, he got coronavirus, and I don't think he'd been vaccinated by the time he got it, and he was only sick for like, I think it was like 4 or 5 days, like actually sick for like 3, 4, 5 days, something like that. But he was taking a conglomeration of all sorts of different drugs. The ibogaine was one of them, like some form of stem cell research or stem cell therapy. I don't have a clue what and where and all of that. All the different medications, which on top of him taking all of his vitamins that he takes and all of the supplements of everything that he uses, like it's hard to see which one of those many things that he takes that made him only sick for a few days. It affects each and every one of us differently. It's like selecting a group of 100,000 people and giving each and every one of them a peanut until you figure out how many of them are allergic to peanuts. It's similar. Just same with the vaccine. Some people aren't going to react well to it. That's still something you should take. You weren't scared of the flu, your flu shot every year, or however often some people get it. You're not scared of that. It's similar technology. Just don't be afraid of it. Like I know a lot of people that had adverse effects to the vaccine, but most of those adverse effects go away. And I don't know if any of you might have had long COVID or even know what the fuck long COVID is, but long COVID is you taking all of, it's not all of, but certain symptoms that you had while you had COVID, taking it with you after you no longer have it. So like, some people might spent months not being able to smell and taste, months with the chest aches. Getting the vaccine, a lot of these people are actually the long COVID problems are curing up. That's a good sign. It's all one big stupid science game, and I don't look to see anybody dying. I don't like seeing people die over stupidity. And I don't know. I will say I'm unvaccinated, but I plan on getting the vaccine sometime soon. It's a stressful topic. People don't like talking about it, and people don't like talking about the fact that some of them have been wrong for the last couple of years. But that's the interesting thing about life is we're all wrong until we're right, or we're all right until we're wrong. And it's always everybody against everybody. It's a one group against another, whether it's right or left, or anti-vax versus vaxxed. It's I get sick and tired of this whole people thinking that there needs to be an other, and people thinking that they need to be a part of a tribe, because we don't live in a world where tribes work anymore. A tribe is supposed to be 150, 200 people. The capability of that your brain's supposed to like recognize, the amount of people that your brain's supposed to recognize. It's really all you're supposed to. People with a higher IQ, they can recognize more people than the average person. But the average people like you and me, we only remember about 150, 200 people. Whether it's their face to the name, until we're reminded. Some people see somebody many, many years later and still recognize them. It's just because that's one of those people that made a very heavy impact on their life. I have a little bit of a hard time understanding how people can be so tribal. We're very tribal creatures. We enjoy getting with a group, whether it's in high school. In high school everybody has their own little cliques, and I don't know. I see that level of tribalism further on into adulthood. You look around, you look at the news, you see, whether it's Antifa burning up buildings or, uh, different white supremacist groups that want to get online and scream about how they hate whatever ethnicity. It's all bad. That's all evil shit. And I heavily disavow all of that for the rest of my life. I will, I don't care for bigotry. I don't care for racism. I don't care for, I'm not against a racist joke every now and again. They're funny, they depending upon the context of the joke. I love white people jokes. There's no difference. There's racism in all forms. Whether you're racist against a Jewish person or racist against an African American person, racist against somebody for being from Italy, anywhere in Europe, racist because they're Asian, and we just got whoever wants to call it the fucking China virus. It makes certain levels of people look at that as racism, but you got to remember that everything that we like to try to, I guess, familiarize is going to be criticized by someone. When the gay movement, in the latter 80s or early 90s, I know there's been a couple of different gay movements, but like with those, everybody wants to bash it until it becomes normalized. And that's what I don't understand is why do we need to normalize it? Why does it need to be normalized? If everybody just looked at each other and thought that you can live the way you want to live until it impedes on what I want, or until it impedes on the way I like to live, I don't see why any of these people need to be I guess pinpointed. I don't see why we're focusing on that. Why are we focusing on transgenders? Why are we focusing on why are we focusing on certain types of people being in the government? Why does any of that matter? Why does it matter what color? Even in the context of somebody trying to make it sound good, trying to push that person's perspective, I don't see why any of it needs to be pushed. Why I don't go out advocating for people to be a straight white male. It's not something I'm going to go do. It's not something that anyone in my seat would go do. How that's I don't see the logic in trying to trying to normalize it. Why do we need to make it normal? It's the way you want to live. Other people can live that way too. It doesn't need to be normalized. Just let everyone, once you let everyone know that it's out there, then it can be normalized. But I don't see the reason in trying to push your agenda. I don't see the reason in trying to push really anyone that has any reason to differentiate yourself from another person based on either the color of your skin or the content of what's in your pants. It doesn't matter. Or even I couldn't base a person solely off of what sexual partner they want to have. Why does that matter to me? I don't. My sexual partner doesn't matter to you. Who I have. You don't go up and ask random people, are you gay? Because I've never seen you with a woman. most people I know have never seen me with my girlfriend, so it'd be a good assumption. Unless, they're friends with me on Facebook, so they fucking know. That's a little bit of a rant that I have every now and again. I don't get that. I don't get trying to make yourself bigger than you actually are because you feel that you were born differently. Just saying. I don't feel that it's something that needs to be advocated. That or I feel that some people get too much attention, and then there's other people that don't get enough attention. Because here every now and again, it seems like at one point you'd see all those commercials for dying African children, due to malaria or whatever other diseases that they might be having over there. But not enough people care. Not enough people care that there's kids dying on the opposite side of the world. Oh, that don't affect me. It's outside of my peripheral, so I don't care. I don't see that narrative going well. I don't see why people, even most people that, you walk into a gas station and they say, "Hey, you want to donate $1 to this?" Fuck no. That's how 90% of the people are. They don't care. That one fucking dollar, if you and 80 other people that said no that day, that's a lot of fucking money. At that one gas station, if you think about it. It's just I don't see why our world is so evil at the moment. It seems like most people generally are nice. But it's amazing how many evil motherfuckers there are, just laying in the shadows, waiting to become the next big politician that you vote for. It's kind of scary, kind of very scary in my opinion. There's with who's in the government right now already. Who's in Senate and Congress. It's a little scary, and especially who's our president at the moment. Like, I lived with. I'm not gonna try to bash him too hard, but I lived with my great grandmother for 5-6 years. She had dementia, and he just in watching a lot of his speeches, I heavily think that he is definitely on that path. He's either on the path of dementia of some sort, or he's he's going brain dead, because he can't hold a sentence for more than even just being questioned something on CNN. Even his placating news media, he can't even get them to, or well, I guess they can't even get him to answer a question that he don't like. And it's not a matter of, I don't even know if it's a matter of him not liking the question. It's a matter of he either doesn't understand the question, or he wanted to sidestep it because he didn't know the answer. And it's like, these are questions you should know the answer to because you're the fucking president of the United States. I don't know. I am kind of scared with the way that the world's going at the moment, and I think everyone should be a little bit scared. I think everyone should be thinking, instead of thinking in the lines of your Republican ways and your Democrat ways, think more of a centrist. Think more. I'm not saying that you need to think like a centrist. I'm just saying carry a little bit more of a central way of thinking. There's a balance between good and evil, and whether you're on the left and you think that the right's evil, whether you're on the right and you think the left's evil, the balance for that is somewhere in the middle. It just is. And I think that's the main reason that our founding fathers put that in place the way they did, is so that there can be many. You'd think in a country like ours that has more capability of having as many political parties as we possibly can, you'd think we'd have more than just the two-party bullcrap that we still have. You know, like you're either a Democrat or a Republican. If you're somewhere, whether you're, if you're a libertarian or if you're anywhere on the spectrum other than Democrat or Republican, people don't even fucking look at you. They like Tulsi Gabbard and Andrew Yang. I think they both could have done decently as president, just because of the fact that they're both younger. I think we need to stop doing this literally like a battle against old people for who is more popular. Like, that's it. That's all it's been for a long time. It's a popularity contest between two old fucks. Really. Two old fucks that I don't understand why anybody gives a fuck about. Like Joe Biden, for example. He's been in government for 48 years now, and he ain't done a fucking thing. Nothing that's worthy, anyways. Nothing that matters. Nothing that was actually good. He's passed bills that a lot of people fucking hate. Although I can't say I would do any better if I was president. I think anybody that's running for president has to be slightly insane. There's some level of crazy for you to think that, for you to have that thought that you could and want to run an entire country of over 300 million people. That's, I just feel like that. I feel like, and as our country gets bigger, as more people come in, and as more people are born into America, I feel that the more people that we end up having, the more likely we'll start pushing towards some form of socialist government. That's a little scary. I don't care for socialism. I don't even care. Like, I agree with what socialism brings. Certain things, like I guess you could call the fire department a form of socialism. But I gotta say, the fire department's a very, very important thing that you want to have. I don't understand why there's not more things like the fire department that we don't have to pay for. The fire department doesn't just show up at a house that's burning and they're like, "Oh, you have insurance?" No? Okay, then we're out of here. They don't work like that. Did you pay your taxes? Yeah, pretty much. Like, that's I don't know. I just find that's a very odd thing. All right, well, my rant's over. I'm pretty well set up. I'm glad that I did this. Thank you all too for sitting here listening to my bullshit. I will be back next time. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.